Here at Eyre Photography, recently had an opportunity to work with a very beautiful model from Russia named Natalia. We did a photo shoot with Natalia that, as you can see, was very strong, very dark makeup. What we did here was a smoky-eyed effect, and we wanted to take just a moment, show you how we did that makeup and show you how you might be able to do it for yourself at home. Hope you enjoy. Here Jane, who was the photographer as well as a makeup artist on this project, is going to begin this look by applying a bit of primer around the eyes. And we're going to freeze the frame right here so we can talk for just a second about what primer is and what it does. Now, the first benefit of primer is that it prepares the area for makeup by evening the skin tones. Now, the second benefit is once those skin tones have been evened, the makeup that is applied on top of them is going to shine the way it was intended to, so the colors are going to stay true. Another benefit of primer is that it actually increases the wearability of the makeup, so you're going to get more life out of the makeup that you apply. The primer that Jane was using here was Prep and Prime Vibrancy Eye by MAC, which is specially designed to address any issues like dark circles under the eyes or anything like that. Now, let's get back to the video because we're going to start to apply eyeliner around the eyes. And what we're using here for an eyeliner is an eyeliner pencil. It's a Rimmel product, Exaggerate Waterproof Eye Definer. And you notice that she's applying this makeup all the way around the eyes, the entire perimeter of the eye, from the inner corner to the outer corner. And when she does, she lifts up that eyelid on the top and she pulls down the eyelid on the bottom, and she's applying that makeup all the way to the waterline along the eyelid. And what this does when you apply the makeup in this manner is it fills in all the areas between the eyelashes. It creates a healthier look, a thicker eyelash look. And once you're done with the eyelashes, you're going to move on to the eyelid itself. And what Jane's working with here for the eyelid is a cream eyeliner. This is a L'Oreal product. It's a high intensity pigment, 905 black. And she's going to apply that with a smudge brush and then blend it with a blending brush, as you see here. Now you notice that she's starting right at the top of the eyelashes, not leaving any space at all between the lash and the lid, filling all that area in with colour. And she's going to spread that with a brush, with a finger, as you saw there. Whatever works for you, whatever you feel comfortable with, you want to do. Now, the reason that Jane chose to work with a cream eyeliner as opposed to a standard eyeshadow is the durability of a product like this. And that worked out fantastic on the shoot with Natalia, because about halfway through the shoot, it started to pour down rain, as you can see here. But because of the makeup and the durability of it, we were able to continue shooting right through the rain, and we got some fantastic shots like this one. Now, it's probably a good idea to point out that not every model that we work with can use a cream eyeliner as an eyeshadow. Sometimes it is a bit harsh, and if that's the case for you, if you find that your eyelid gets a bit irritated from it, you can of course use a cream base eyeshadow as well, a long-lasting cream base eyeshadow, and it will do a very similar job. Now, I want to point out another thing that Jane is doing here. You notice that she's increasing the amount of pigment, loading that pigment right in the crease at the top of the eyelid. Now, the reason she's doing that is because normally your eyelid, without any makeup on it at all, is darker in the area of the crease because, well, there's a shadow there, isn't there? However, when you're doing an effect like this, you're loading a lot of pigment on top of the eye and you're making it very dark, which means that that crease gets lost a bit. And so what you've got to do is you've got to come back in and load it up so that you define that crease again. All you're really doing is bringing back the definition of the eyelid that was there to begin with. Now, once you've gotten this top area done, you're going to move on to the bottom lid. And really, when you do the bottom lid, you're not doing anything different than you were on the top lid. In fact, it's exactly the same. You're going to load up that smudge brush with the cream eyeliner, and you're going to go right up to the bottom eyelash, and you're going to blend that with a blending brush. You're going to smudge it with your finger, whatever you need to do. But remember, you've got a much smaller area to work with here because the lower lid is a lot smaller than the upper lid. So that fade away from the eyelash is going to happen much more quickly. As we watch Jane finish the makeup here on the lower lid and blend it into the upper lid, we want to point out a couple of things about what she's doing in the shape of the eye that she's creating. Now remember, the purpose of eye makeup has always been, from the very, very beginning, to draw attention to the eye, to increase the drama of the eye. And so whenever you do makeup, you always want to make sure that you're drawing attention to the eye in the right way. That means creating the right shape with the right angles. Now notice that the way she has the makeup done creates the illusion that the eye is larger than it actually is. And that is what makes this such a dramatic effect. But you want to be careful. You don't just want to load colour on around the eyes without any sort of a plan. You always want to move the colour upward, up and away from the eye at an angle. In effect, what you're doing is you're recreating the natural shape of the eye, just enlarging it a bit. And you always want to move the makeup up. You want to have that angle go up because that will give the eyes a lot more energy, a lot more youth. The alternative, of course, is to allow that makeup to pull the eye down. Now we've gone ahead and we've stopped the film right here because we want to pay close attention to exactly what Jane has done here to establish the shape of the makeup that she's working with. Notice how this red line follows exactly along the lower eyelid. That lower eyelid creates a curve that continues all the way up to the outside edge of the eyebrow. And if you follow that line, if you keep your colour within the confines of that line, you will always get a very natural look. Now, a good way to stay within those lines is to apply a bit of base around the outside edge of the eye. You don't want to do this too heavy though, because you're going to have to do it more than once, and if you put too much on, it'll start to get a bit pancakey. Your goal here is to cover up any of the makeup that has gone out beyond those lines, and once you do that, you want to blend it in a bit. Remember, of course, you don't want any hard edges with this look. Another important thing to remember is that when you work with something like this and you're just using really black up until this point, it can start to look a bit unnatural. You want to come back in and warm it up a little bit, and you can do that by applying something like a dark brown eyeshadow. That'll bring in some warm tones, some skin tones, and it'll make it look more natural. Jane here is using a MAC product. This is handwritten. It is a matte finish eyeshadow. It's in a rich chocolate brown. Now when she's done with that, she's going to blend it a bit, of course, again, always going for that blended ethereal look. But the next step is important. We want you to pay close attention to what she does here, because she's going to use a highlighter to re-establish once again the natural shape of the eye. Notice she's working on that inner edge of the eye along the nose. She's going to work underneath the brow, as you see there. Her goal here is to re-establish the shape of the eye. Remember we mentioned earlier that when you use something this dark, it can often flatten the eye and take away the dimension. She's using this light to give the dimension back, really just using one of the tricks of the old Renaissance masters, Michelangelo and Leonardo. What she's doing is she's using a light to counterbalance that dark. Every shadow needs a light, and so she's just using that trick to re-establish the shape of the eye. Nothing new, just bringing out what was there to begin with that we covered up a bit with all that makeup. What Jane's using here for a highlighter is Colour Stay Mineral Finishing Powder Alt 1 Alt Brighten by Revlon. Obviously now this is a very strong, very dramatic look, and the look that we had on Natalia for the photo shoot was even stronger than this, but don't be afraid to experiment with this. Dial it back a little bit. Just a little bit less drama here, and this is something that you could wear anywhere. What Jane's going to do now is she's going to go back and start working on those lashes again. She's going to darken them up a bit, and she's using an angled brush. If you don't have a brush like this, I encourage you, in fact I implore you, go out and buy one. Even if it's inexpensive, get one, work with it a little bit, practice with it till you get used to it. There's a reason that professional makeup artists as well as professional painters use brushes like this. They do the work for you, and the work that we're talking about is what she's doing right here. She's going to follow the eye along the lash line with his brush, and then she's going to use the brush to create the illusion that the lash continues, and she's going to do a little trick here that I want you to see using the handle of the brush. Watch what she does. See that? She's lining up the brush along the lower lid of the eye. That's that line that we were showing you earlier. Lining up the brush like that helps her to see where that curve continues, and it helps her to then paint that lash out a bit. There's really nothing there, but the way that she's painted it makes it look like the lashes continue. Here she's putting a bit more base on to finish off that edge that she just defined using that little trick. This is why we told you don't load up the base early, because you're going to have to do it again and it's going to get too thick. Here, final touches with that edge to bring the illusion of those lashes out. So now it looks like the lashes are long and lustrous. She's checking the eyes here. She's going to do a bit of touch up here and there. If she sees that she missed a spot, she'll go ahead and fill that in, blend it a bit. Then she's going to put the final touch on the eyelashes themselves. Now what she's going to do is she's going to use a curler on the eyelashes. You can do this if your lashes are long enough. If you want to, at this point, you could, of course, add false eyelashes. Either way, though, when you put mascara on, you want to put it on in the way that she's doing. Starting on an outside edge, curling up and away from the lashes. Now that curling up and away is going to lift and it's going to separate those lashes so that they can be coated on all sides without getting clumpy, looking like you just put mascara on. You always want to start on the outside edge, right? Because that's where the lashes are naturally heavier. You can always be assured that your look is going to be natural if you're accentuating what's naturally there to begin with. So pay close attention to what your face really looks like, what your lashes really look like. At this point, we're pretty much done with this look. The eyeshadow's done, the eyelashes are done. She's doing a bit of touch up here at the end. And the last thing, the very last thing that she's going to do really doesn't have anything to do with the eyes at all, but it's just finishing the face here. She's going to move on to the lips. She's using here a Rimmel product. This is 1000 Kisses 206 Tiramisu lip liner. It's really almost a skin tone, just a bit of a difference there to define the lips. Then she's going to put on a gloss. This here is a Revlon product as well. This is number 150. Peach Petal. This lip gloss has a sunblock in it, which makes it not only look fantastic but also protects your lips as well. And there you have it, Smoky Eyes by Jane Eyre. We want to thank you for stopping by. We hope this was helpful to you, and from all of us here at Jane Eyre Photography, we'll see you next time.